fellow miniature painters, this is Kieran from Keys Minis. Today we're working on some Marauder models from Mantic Games. It's from the Firefight range. So over a Chaos Black spray using Administratum Grey, I've done around 2 layers already on a thin glaze consistency, and I'm just going to obviously apply it over. Like I said, it takes around 2 to 3, possibly 4 layers to get a good coverage over a black spray. I can't remember if this was Chaos Black or the Forge Fathers or whatever it's called black spray that I get from my local hobby shop, which is hobbyworkshop.co.uk. Great service they offer for any discounted models. They are 25% if anyone's looking for models here in the UK. But yeah, just a nice simple coverage, glaze consistency. Shadows, I'm using Administratum Grey and Dawnstone at a 50-50 mix, and what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to work under these points here. There's some nice shadow points created from these. These are resin cast models, and this smoke is a resin as well, so there's just some nice points you can find, and using again a thin glaze consistency you probably can work under the shadows really well. I only did around 1 layer, but I think if you want to increase the gradient a little bit more and really make those shadows and areas pop a little bit more, you could do 2 to 3 layers here and create some nice gradient effects bleeding off from any highlighted areas. Now just using Dawnstone on its own, I'm going to work a thin layer just around, really in those deep recess areas of the shadows, just to create a nice more darker effect. Yeah, is what you could say. Again, like I said, if you wanted to work a couple of layers up with the previous layer, you might get some better gradients, and probably what I got on this one. But this was the first time I'd ever painted these kind of models, and it's one of the first times I'd used this kind of method. I was really happy with what I got in the end. It wasn't too dark of a smoke effect. I wanted it to be lighter, and this Dawnstone effect just added a little bit more depth to it. I suppose you could go deeper as well if you want a really fine, a deep shadow effect. You could probably use Mechanicum Standard Grey to really make that work even better for you as a deep shade area. So next I'm going to go back to the highlight stage using Administratum Grey, and I'm using a Vallejo White 50-50 mix, and just pick out points up on any raised areas of the smoke here. Take your time. I prefer to use glaze consistency because it's just not as harsh. I probably went in on these a little bit too hard at the first point. I didn't get the consistency of my mix right, but that's fine. We do it from time to time. It's up to you. Just take a little bit more time to blend things in. If you are concerned with anything like that, you can go back with the previous mix and glaze over it a little bit more, which would probably be the Dawnstone and Administratum mix, just to kind of blend it in a little bit more if you get too overworked, or just even the Administratum just to work over some of the shadows. So that's it, that's the highlight stage. You could go more, but using corn red now as a glaze consistency, I'm going to work in these like flame areas from these flame packs. A couple of thin glazes just up into the to the pack. I think I only did 2. I probably didn't wipe the excess off enough here, and I kind of got some bleed effects, but that's just part of it sometimes. If you get that, kind of wipe your excess away, and that's reduced a lot more. I'm still learning as a painter, and I never say anything I do is perfect. I'm just kind of giving you ideas from where I learn that hopefully it'll help you progress as a painter as well as I continue to progress. But yeah, probably just reduce some of wipe off the excess with a tea towel or on your foam a little bit more. Sorry, this kind of went out of focus a little bit here, but still playing around with the camera angles from what I'm learning about. I'm going to go on to my next layer using Evil Sunz Scarlet. So after around 2 layers, you can see where I kind of gradient it off with a thicker layer at the top, and I went back with a Ministratum grey just to tidy up some of those bleed lines a little bit. There's always a chance to rework things. So now I'm just working on a highlight on kind of these raised flames, I suppose you'd say that they are, or on the exhaust fumes. Yeah, just a thin layer, roughly starting just a little bit above where that highlight is from the corn. I kind of want it to seem like it's bleeding into the corn red, and it's kind of dissipating into the smoke after that. So a little bit higher, and just work this this highlight here. I'm going to take it one step further with some Troll Slayer Orange. You could probably use, I forgot what the other one is as well, Fire Bright Red or Wild Rider Red, if you don't want to go too deep straight away. So you could have another third layer. Sorry, this is a little bit out of focus, but I'm working more at the top now, just right where those exhaust bits are from the jetpack area. And I'm not going with like spreading this highlight further down, just keeping it working right at the top. I'm also trying to add a bit of a glow effect around those where the flames are coming out. I don't know what it's called. So on this pack. And the final highlight is with Yearly Yellow, and this is just right at the top here. A nice thin area just working in. I also added some spots and dots as well if you wanted to create a bit more of a flame effect. I probably went a little too bright with it. I probably needed to thin my highlight down a little bit more, as you'll see in a little bit. But yeah, I quite enjoyed this little process, just figuring out how to work some smoke and add a little bit of flame context into it as well. These miniatures are skyscrapers from the Mantic Games range, and I had a lot of fun painting them. something a little bit different from the 40k orcs from Warhammer, but they are really fun, and I'm learning a lot more about resin as I'm painting with these. And here's just kind of that flame effect there with the dots. You could probably go a little bit further and add some white dots into it as well. And these are the guys here. Sorry I'd not took a shot with my longer width, but really interesting models. I had a lot of fun painting them, and yeah, lovely little models to play around with. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.